Imagine standing in a quiet garage. The smell of machine oil lingers in the air, and scattered across the workbench are blueprints, wires, and fragments of carbon fiber. But this isn't a car repair shop. It is something far more ambitious. Here, the dream isn't to drive, it is to fly. Most people look at a helicopter and see impossibility. Massive rotor blades, precision engineering, safety systems that seems out of reach. But history tells a different story. Many of aviation's greatest breakthroughs didn't come from billion-dollar corporations. They came from small workshops, from visionaries with little more than stubbornness, mechanical skill, and a burning obsession to conquer the skies. So the question is simple but electrifying. Could you really start a helicopter business today? The dream of flight has haunted human imagination for centuries. Leonardo da Vinci sketched an aerial screw in the 15th century, a concept not unlike the modern helicopter's rotor, but he lacked engines, materials, and technology. 400 years later, Igor Sikorsky built his first experimental helicopters in a modest workshop, failing repeatedly until one machine finally lifted off. The moment rewrote aviation history. The lesson is clear. Flight often begins not with massive corporations, but with dreamers willing to test, fail, and try again. Today, you don't need to be Boeing or Airbus to get started. With rapid prototyping tools, lightweight composites, and accessible funding options, the journey into aviation has never been more open to individuals. And that is where your helicopter business story begins. No one builds a full-size helicopter as their first step. The path begins much smaller. Drones. Drones are today's training ground for future aerospace entrepreneurs. They are affordable, scalable, and regulated under simpler rules than manned aircraft. Building drones teaches the same fundamentals: aerodynamics, propulsion, avionics, and flight stability. For as little as $500, you can start designing and assembling your own hobby drone. At $2,000, you can build semi-professional rigs for photography or surveying. And at $60,000 or more, you enter the world of industrial UAVs, machines capable of carrying heavy payloads for agriculture, mapping, or even emergency response. This stage teaches critical lessons. You will learn how lift is generated by spinning rotors, how drag can be destabilized flights, how gyroscope forces affect maneuverability, and how electronic speed controllers balance thrust in real time. You will also learn the business side, customer demand, scaling production, and dealing with regulations. This is how your helicopter business begins, not with passengers, but with propellers small enough to fit in your backpack. Once you have mastered drones, the next step is scaling up. This is where the dream transforms into real aircraft. A small experimental helicopter requires three core components: the rotor system, which provides lift and stability; a lightweight fuselage built from carbon fiber or aluminum; a power system, traditionally a piston or turbine engine. Then there is avionics, the brain of the machine. Flight control systems today can be assisted by gyroscopes, GPS modules, and even AI autopilots. A modern ultralight helicopter may be easier to fly than its 1970s counterpart thanks to software stabilization. Designing these systems doesn't demand a billion-dollar factory anymore. With CAD software, 3D printing, and CNC machining, you can fabricate key parts in small workshops. Testing begins with scaled-down models before moving to ultralight helicopters. Costs escalate quickly at this stage. An ultralight helicopter prototype can run between $200,000 and $500,000. But by this point, your business isn't no longer theoretical. You are entering the space where vision becomes reality. Starting a helicopter business doesn't mean you must compete with Bell or Airbus immediately. The market is wide, and opportunities exist at multiple levels. First, kit sales and parts. Just as companies sell car kits for enthusiasts, you can sell drone or ultralight helicopter kits. Second, aerial services. Helicopters and advanced drones are invaluable for industries like agriculture, surveying, cinematography, and emergency logistics. Third, training and experience. Flight schools, simulation centers, or even flying clubs can generate revenue. And fourth, personal transport and tourism. This is a long game. It is risky, but it is where the highest reward lie. Remember, the business of flying isn't only about selling aircraft. It is about selling access to the skies. So how much money do you really need to start? Let's break it down. Phase 1, drone prototyping, $2,000 to $10,000. Phase 2, industrial UAV development, $50,000 to $100,000. Phase 3, small helicopter prototype, $200,000 to $500,000. Phase 4, certification and scaling, $1 million to $10 million or more. Funding options vary. Crowdfunding is excellent for drones. Angel investors step in when there is a prototype. Governments sometimes offer grants. And once traction is proven, venture capital arrives. The capital might sound intimidating, but consider this. Many drone companies started with little more than student competition and Kickstarter campaigns. The money follows when the vision is strong. Here is where most dreams stall. Flying drones is one thing. Flying manned helicopter is another. Every nation has an aviation authority. The FAA in the US, EASA in Europe, and the Ethiopian Civil Aviation in Ethiopia. Their rules decide who gets to fly, what qualifies as safe, and which designs can enter the skies. This stage is less about engineering and more about paperwork, testing, and compliance. It may take years and millions of dollars to pass certification for passenger use, but without this step, your helicopter remains only an experiment. Still, foreigners don't let regulation stop them. They treat them as part of the journey, not a barrier. Now, here is where the story gets exciting. For decades, helicopters have relied on fuel-hungry engines, but the world is shifting toward electric aviation. Companies like Joby Aviation, Lilium, and even Airbus are investing billions in eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. These are essentially futuristic helicopters, quieter, cleaner, and sometimes autonomous. Instead of complex rotor systems, some use distributed propellers powered by batteries. And instead of heavy fuel tanks, they use lightweight lithium packs. And instead of traditional pilots, some are designed to fly themselves. This is a revolution in the making. And here is the key. You don't need to be Boeing or Tesla to join. Startups around the world are already raising seed funding to build small electric aircraft. The sky is opening again, this time for innovators who think differently. So, what does it really take to start a helicopter business? Not just money, not just engineering. It takes vision, the ability to see aircraft not only as machines, but as solutions. Solutions to traffic congestion, solutions to medical emergencies, solutions to connecting communities cut by geography. Helicopters and their electric successors are not just luxury toys. They are tools that shrink the world. Every industry begins with dreamers. The automobile industry began with tinkerers in barns. The computer industry began with hobbyists in garages. And aviation itself, it begins with two brothers on a wind-swept beach in North Carolina. Today, the tools for build flying machines are more accessible than ever before. Hard software, 3D printing, affordable drones, global crowdfunding platforms. Today, the tools to build flying machines are more accessible than ever before. Hard software, 3D printing, affordable drones, global crowdfunding platforms, all within reach of ordinary innovators. So if you are ever looked at the sky and thought, why not me? Remember this, the future of flight doesn't belong only to giants. It belongs to the bold, the curious, and the persistent. Your helicopter business might not start in the clouds, but on a workbench with a small motor and a dream. And from there, who knows how high you will go.